if I could talk to Antonio Brown, this is what I would tell him. See, we see how sometimes, coaches like Mike Tomlin and, what was happening between the locker room with Antonio Brown, Le'Veon Bell, and Big Ben. See, there's a lot of things that people, they try to deal with, and it's very difficult. And we see even with coaches, we look at one of the greatest coaches of all time. People talk about Phil Jackson, how Phil Jackson had the Chicago Bulls and he had Jordan and Pippen, as you can see. And then we talk about when Phil Jackson had the Lakers, how he had Kobe and Shaq. And, at one point he called Kobe uncoachable, and we understand when they lost to the Detroit Pistons in 2004 and Phil Jackson left, and then all of a sudden he ended up coming back a year after that. But going to AB, when he was looking at, possibly going to the Patriots, I'd have been like, yo, bro, remember when the Patriots got Randy Moss? Yeah, man. So, when they blew the record books out the water, right? So Brady threw for 50 touchdowns that year. He broke Manning's 2004 record of 49. Moss had 23 touchdowns, breaking Jerry Rice's record that was captured in 12 games. And the Patriots had 582 points, the record they broke that was held by the 1998 Vikings, and which had 556 points. But who was on that team? Again, Randy Moss, Chris Carter, Randall Cunningham, and others. And then, possibly before he even went to the Raiders, when people talk about, John Gruden and how he's a guru and everything like that. And we look at Cooper, when he had Cooper had 6 games with the Raiders. He had 22 receptions, 280 yards, and 1 touchdown. And he had 14 first downs, and he only averaged 46.7 yards per game. But then he gets traded to the Cowboys, and in 9 games he has 53 receptions, 725 yards, 6 touchdowns, 39 first downs, and he averaged 80.6 yards per game. At that time, the Cowboys were 3-4, and then when Cooper came, they ended up finishing with a record of 11-5. And then at that time, the Raiders were 1-3. So my advice to AB would be like, bro, you sure you want to go here, man? Because they ended up, trading Khalil Mack. And, it even says on the thing how, he really didn't want Khalil Mack to get traded, but he never had negotiations. And to me, as a coach, I think it would have been a lot better if he would have came and talked to Khalil Mack, and maybe they could have came to some agreement or something like that. But he said how he wanted to coach Khalil Mack, and even reported that he never had any talking to Khalil Mack until after the trade. He also expressed, Khalil Mack well wishes and everything like that. And also said he cried 3 days afterwards. Because how do you trade away Khalil Mack and then, you get on TV and you say, oh, we'll get another Khalil Mack. Nah, it would have been easier for him to try to keep Khalil Mack, because, Khalil Mack makes it easier on your defense, and we seen where they went. Now, understanding all of that, he probably would have wanted to go play with Carr, another quarterback, where they had a 3-year deal, $50 million contract, $30 million guaranteed, up to $4 million in incentives. So I can understand that, but I would tell him you got to be careful, going to a place like that as well too, And so, if he would have stayed 2 more days, he would end up, getting the guaranteed money, and also he had a 3-year contract. But then, he wanted to go to the Patriots. So let's go back to that. And I would have told him, remember what they did to Randy Moss after that year? They actually cut Randy Moss. They got rid of Randy Moss. And so, we see, I would have said, bro, listen, if you go there, man, you know what happened, man. Listen, and Randy Moss wasn't doing pretty much half as what you was doing, bro. So be careful, and he posted on social media, about it and everything like that, and we see how it turned out, that it didn't pan out well for him. And so then all of a sudden, even when they were struggling, they still didn't come back and get Antonio Brown, man. So, but I saw his post, AB put God's plan. Yeah, God does always have a plan, Jeremiah 29:11, for he knows the plans that I have for you, plans to prosper you, not to harm you, but to give you a future and a hope. But it also talks about it in Proverbs 25, the Message Bible 11 and 12. The right word at the right time is like a custom-made piece of jewelry, and a wise friend's timely reprimand is like gold ring slipped on your finger. You said it was God's plans. Proverbs 27:17. As iron sharpens iron, so a man sharpens the countenance of his friend. You know, and not saying, you know, like who's around your company. And so my thing would be like, you know, and it's not always saying that people are bad, but you got to understand, you know, sometimes people may mean well, but their advice, they're unqualified to give you advice, even though they may mean well. So you got to be careful because they can be advise you in a certain way and you got to be professional or handle a certain way. And that's what I would say, because it's not always saying that people are bad, but you got to be careful of how they're giving you advice and could lead you to make a decision or anything like that, you know, not to burn some bridges or anything like that, but also to, as a man, you know, and believing in God, you know, we got to apologize to those we have done wrong, and then you can move on like that. So I believe I can, you know, help you get into the NFL and stay in there as well too, but also help you with that, help you spiritually, mentally as well, you know. And sometimes, you know, we don't have people that we can trust around us because, you know, certain people will say this and do that, and then it don't go the way we want it to, and we looking at it like, man, that's messed up, you know what I'm saying? But in a difficult time, just like the word says, you know, a brother is born in adversity. So that's when we find out who our true people, our true friends are, when we're going through a difficult time. You know, one of the other things, 1 Peter 4:12, it says, thinking not strange of the fiery trial that comes to try you as though some strange thing were trying you, you know. So that's what it is. So that's what I would also say, because like I said, you know, it's hard for, you know, some of these coaches. They expect them to be able to deal with players' emotions and social media and all of that. And, you know, like we see with Phil Jackson, you know, they ended up coming back and, you know, they won more championships. But Shaq and Kobe, you know, in that sit down interview, you know, they was like, man, how many championships we would have had if we would have stayed together. So if we go back to the Killer Bees as they was in Pittsburgh, you know, if that was able to be done properly, you know, saying Big Ben, Bale, and AB, so that could have been done. And, you know, I could have helped with that situation as well too. So just wanted to say that, definitely praying for you. If you ever need to talk, man, I'm here for you, but just know that, man, things are going to get better. But, you know, sometimes it deals with, we have to discipline ourselves and, you know, why God allows things to happen. So where you're at right now, it's Proverbs 3:5-6. Trust in the Lord with all your heart. Do not lean to your own understanding. In all your ways acknowledge him, and he will direct your path. But definitely my prayer would be for you to be around some people that can encourage you, uplift you, push you in the right direction, you know. So you need to be in mentally, you know, saying, and whether you end up going with Tom Brady down in Tampa Bay, man, you know, I pray blessings, you know. So, all right, man. As always, I'm out. I always say love y'all. God bless.